Hello, hello. I was just talking to my husband about the delivery services that are out there when you order something on the internet, and a lot of times somebody, and this also applies to regular postal service, a lot of times these people, when they work there, it's usually the men that become very aggressive, and they work there to make a living, and they are very miserable in their jobs. It's a job I wouldn't want to do either. It's who wants to do that job? Like unpack and pack up vans with boxes and dust in it that you breathe in, and you don't know what's in that box. Might be pesticides, like can make people sick. So it's just heavy boxes carrying, and it's tedious, and they're under time pressure. They have to do this in a specific time frame. It's a hard physical job. But what happens then often is, after a certain time, maybe after a couple of years, some of these people, they get frustrated and they don't pay attention anymore where they deliver it to. They mix up the house numbers and so on. And when they're being asked about it, they get pissed because they don't want to take responsibility for their own lives. They'll get mad. They get mad at the person who pointed it out, the fault. Well, that applies to all walks of life and in all kinds of situations, of course. But in particular, people who are blue-collar workers, who do the hard physical labor, the tedious jobs. So they're already very unhappy. And when they make a mistake, and they get held accountable for it, they get very pissed off, which is completely the wrong attitude. It's the wrong approach to begin with, to get pissed at someone else pointing out your fault. Okay, this is not the way of living, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. But if you are miserable in your job, if you are unhappy, you need to quit that job right away, because if you're living a life with a miserable job, you're getting up like 6 or 7 in the morning with this terrible alarm sound that can make someone's heart stop, and it has happened. And then drink coffee, and then load yourself up with toxic materials. Like caffeine is very toxic for the body, and doing this over many years can really wear down your system. And then all this stress and all this misery and all this anger and resentment, I don't want to live a life like this. I'd rather not live at all. But I think a lot of people they don't even think about this from that angle. They don't even look at it from that angle. They just think they have to do this working. I had a boyfriend once. I always had blue collar boyfriends, by the way, and it was my way of some kind of opposition to hierarchy. And so I had this boyfriend. He became psychotic later on, and his mother blamed me for it, for the most part, which is completely wrong. That's, again, not taking responsibility for her own ways of... She was the mother, not me. And so he told me that he was working at this one place where they were cleaning out those train wagons that are containers that are filled with substances, different chemical substances. Some of them so highly toxic that somebody would die. And he said there was a guy, he went into one of those containers that had a substance in it that was lethal, and he went in there to clean it out. He had to crawl through a top opening, and to get into it, some, I don't know, some kind of, had to put a ladder in, and they had to climb in from the top. That's where also where the materials would be hosed in from the top. So this one guy goes in there and he passes out, and by the time they find him finally, where's this guy? You know, they look, oh, he's in one of the containers that are lethal. And so by the time they found him, he was already dead. And he told me a bunch of those things. That was in Germany even. So you see, even in Germany, there are exploitational situations happening. And later on, I called the secretary up, and I needed to find something out about the situation there. And they acted very suspiciously. But not everything that my boyfriend told me was true. He said that somebody had put his arms under a derailed train wagon, and the arms were cut off. So that story obviously wasn't true. That was just like one of his psychotic nightmares that he was connecting with this whole work situation. Actually, work situation like this can make some people crazy. Some people can become psychotic. It can follow them into their dreams. And like people work at car mechanics, and they have to do oil changes, and they're like 17 years old, and they're like completely overwhelmed with that situation, and things go wrong, then they get blamed, and all this enormous amount of stress, it will follow them into their dreams, and they'll have nightmares, and they suffer from it. And some people don't keep their sanity, okay? But most people don't have this highly sensitive type of DNA. Most people, most men, I'm talking about men here, women work situations are different. They usually do secretary type of work, and they often don't do much. They just do their fingernails. You know, there are some women who do hard physical labor too, of course. But most women already would not choose something like this. I would certainly not choose it. I'd rather be poor. I'd rather sit on the street with a hat in front of me and beg for change. Got some change? So this is better than working your asses off, literally. Some people go crazy, and most people become kind of violent, because out of this misery, and they have this short circuit loop that Dr. Adrienne Rain is talking about between the hippocampus and the amygdala. So that's like a loop that bypasses the prefrontal cortex. That's a very dangerous situation, because the prefrontal cortex is there for us to plan and make decision and evaluate situation for danger and for causalities. So if this happens, then that will happen. That's the prefrontal cortex. If we bypass that, we're just in a spontaneous rage loop, and we can do some very unthoughtful things in that moment. And so this obviously is the case with a lot of people. And so there was this UPS guy who finally snapped. I don't know if he became psychotic, could be, you know, or if it was just this loop that Dr. Adrienne Rain is talking about, that he just finally couldn't take it anymore, just like completely burned out, like some short circuit, which it is literally, you know. So he just finally was so frustrated, he went into the UPS hall where they package up the packages, put them into vans, and he started to shoot people there. And did he shoot himself, Paul? I think he shot himself.
Oh.
The UPS guy.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he shot himself afterwards, which most people do because it's just so drastic, that situation, that they just can't take it at all. And so that's why I'm saying, you know, for anybody who has a job that is unbelievably miserable and unbearable to live with, don't do it. Quit that job. It's better, you know. A lot of men do this out of severe pressure, which also comes from the movie industry again, you know. You're supposed to work, you're supposed to have a lot of money so you can impress girls, so you can buy this car, so you can have this, and so, you know, it's all this I gotta have this in order to get this, you know. It's like, it's this enormous pressure, psychological pressure, that can totally make people's lives unbearable. So forget about that girl, forget about the Barbie, forget about this, forget about all of this, forget about being respected. Let them call you whatever they want to call you. Let them call you sissy. I know that's what the blue collar type of people, that's what the redneck type of people do. They call you gay, they call you fag, they call you sissy, they call you pussy, they call you cunt. What else? All kinds of these things. These are all labels that are obviously so feared. They're as feared as death in that society. And so that's why I'm making these videos, because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't show them the finger, like, hey, you do your own sissy shit, okay? It's not your problem, it's their problem, not yours. If somebody puts you under pressure, or if the Hollywood movies put you under pressure and you think you have to also have a life like James Bond, and you have to impress the women with your new Camaro or whatever, Camaro Stingray, baby. You know, it's like, think about it first. Think about this. Sit back, lean back, take a deep breath, and don't go by the movies, don't go by redneck barbecue buddies, beer drinker, bar libertarians. Okay, don't go by tattooed, muscle shirt, bald-headed, brutal baby. Okay, don't go by this. Okay, lean back in your recliner chair. Don't take a beer. Make a tea. Take a deep breath. Do some yoga, some breathing techniques, meditation, and think this all through in calmness by yourself. Not help doesn't come from outside. It comes from within yourself, not from someone else. It doesn't come from the Barbie serving you. It doesn't come from a Camaro. It doesn't come from a psychiatrist. It doesn't come from a psychologist, from a therapist. It doesn't come from a preacher or a minister or a pastor or whatever. It doesn't come from a religion. It doesn't come from outside. It comes from within yourself. It comes from taking full responsibility for your life right now, here in this recliner chair. Right now, the question, what can I do to make my life better? Maybe the people I hung out with are not so beneficial for my health. Maybe the job is not so beneficial for my health. What is out there that would make me feel really good? And I'm not talking about the peer pressure type of stuff again. You know, the Barbie and the Camaro, or the fancy clothes, or whatever you want. You know. That's not what makes you feel really good inside. that's again a means to an end, and it is always a peer pressure type of end situation. It is not really feeling good. You will always be in a frenzy. You will always be under pressure. Okay, it's good to have wealth, but not under pressure. Don't build this up under pressure. Wealth has to be. If you want to become wealthy, you have to completely first come down to state zero. Before you cannot be in somewhere running 200 miles per hour under pressure and peer pressure and libertarian beer bodies and all of this. It's not going to work. First come ground zero, state zero, mindset zero. Okay, complete calmness, pondering over it. And this is not something liberal, because I'm telling you this, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a conservative. I don't have any of these things. I don't go by that. I go by common sense. This is common sense, okay, what I'm telling people in my videos. Calm down, relax, do meditation. Has nothing to do with religion. It's about mental state that gets calmed down. It's plainly biological. And then think things through in peace. Ponder over it. Ask the right questions. What do I really want in my life to feel better? What do I really want? Do I want a Barbie and be pleasing her all the time and buying her things because she's just a bitch and she just wants to take from me? Or do I want a real connection with somebody? And this real connection can happen and is out there, is lined up there for every single person, no matter where you are. This connection that each individual, that each biological being needs is lined up there for you, no matter how you look, no matter, you could be crippled in a wheelchair, no matter who you are, no matter from which walk of life you come from. This one-on-one friendship connection, I'm not talking just necessarily sex. This is also sex. All of this is Barbie stuff. All of this is peer pressure. A lot of men, they can't even get hard anymore, So a lot of men don't have libido anymore. What do? They take Viagra to force them. You see how ridiculous this is? What they really want is the connection. Elliot Rodger wanted the connection to that, but he wasn't aware. He thought he needed a Barbie. See, he needed to do bodybuilding so he was in this frenzy. He was in this frenzy running 1,000 miles an hour. Okay. And then he would just encounter resistance. But what he wanted was unrealistic. He didn't even go up to the women. He didn't even talk to them. So they thought he didn't like them, and they thought he was just snobbish and aggressive. So they avoided him because of this. But he wanted someone to come to him and adore him and all of this. So, you have to understand, this sex thing is being propagated by the media. It's being blown up like you have to be having libido, like you need to do it 4 times a day or 5 times or 10 times in order to, so that you can be regarded as this badass libido person, man or woman, whatever. That is not natural and normal. Libido and sex drive, that happens automatically when the body is totally healthy and sane. The word holy, by the way, comes from the word whole, wholesome, integrity, connected, be whole within, you know. That's where this word originally comes from. The holy person, the one with the halo, the one with the good radiation, that is the one who is connected to everything and within himself. And those are the ones that were later worshipped. But the people misunderstand it. They think this is something that person must be a demigod or whatever, or a saint or whatever. That's just a state of mind that every single person can achieve. Okay, it's just a matter of becoming sane and healthy. That's all. And that's not achieved by drinking or taking drugs or by bending down to peer pressure and all of this commerce craze that comes from the Hollywood, from the movie industry. I see a lot of people are victims of it. Even filmmakers themselves are victims of it, and they don't know it. When I was in my 20s, I was in a fog myself. Okay? It took me a long time to, little by little, to come to more and more realizations. I just knew when I was in my 20s, I just knew that certain things just didn't feel good. I just couldn't even directly point out why. But I knew this didn't feel good. I knew the smoking just was completely off. I knew that this wasn't going anywhere, and I envisioned myself already not smoking, so and have a luxurious lifestyle. And I think everybody should aspire to this, but not become rich in that frenzy state. That's not going to work. It will never work. Okay, you don't become rich by gambling, by drinking, or by shady mafia type of businesses. That's not the way to do it. That just completely ruins your life. There's a film out there with Brad Pitt, I think, playing that character, where he gets involved with the mafia and then ends up ruining his entire life. So it's like, that's what I'm talking about. Is this, we need to first come to understand what real, true living, the living of right now, not like what can I get in the future, you know, the living of the power of now, what Eckhart Tolle is talking about, you know, what so many people are talking about, Pema Chodron and Jiddu Krishnamurti and S.N. Goenka. It is about the now moment. It is most of our lives should be lived in pondering in peace. That's when you get the clarity of mind. That's when you get the real planning and the real understanding of causalities, of A causes B, you know, and what can I do to avoid C. So literally. So we have to first calm way down. We need to calm way down, get out of that frenzy, quit that UPS job or whatever they're doing. And if they have no money and no Barbie doll, and they have to give their Camaro back to the company that they leased it from, that's fine. Drink tea. There are so many ways to build yourself up a foundation of life. And from that healthy foundation of life, you can have better ideas and better approaches to going into your future. And I recommend education. Education is key. And if you have very little money, you can still go to an evening school. You can still, little by little, catch up on the education that you need to have in order to have a broader understanding of things for you, just for yourself, but also to widen your opportunities later on for for doing that what you always wanted to do professionally. Your profession should not be cut off from your life. It shouldn't be just this means to an end of getting a little bit cash so you can do this crazy stuff again. So a job should be part of your life. When you work, it shouldn't be feeling like work. It should be, you should be really enjoying it. Whatever it is, enjoy it, like feel good about it. Feel like this is also helping the world, what I'm doing here. Not a mafia hitman job. That does not feel good to your body. This is the truth. Your body has a lot more wisdom than the neurotic neuronal connections that have formed. The neurons themselves who form these neurotic connections of thinking you need to work for the mafia so you can have this quick cash, okay, and hurting other people in the course of it. Even to the neurons it doesn't feel good. The neurons, the single neuronal cells, the spindle cells, and all of this is involved in making these connections in the brain and making these wirings, these thoughts, these way of thinking, this quick money concept. Even the neurons themselves that are made to make these routings, they don't like it. So when you do something that is contradictory to your own biology, it causes sickness later on. It causes severe sickness. All kinds of, can cause psychosis. It can cause the C. It can cause leukemia. It can cause all kinds of horrific things and complications. And heart problems, of course. It breaks people's hearts literally, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. So that's why I'm saying calm way down and relax, breathe. Breathing. People often forget to breathe. I know it for myself when I'm in fear, or all of this kind of breathing becomes shallow and we kind of become frozen. We need to totally relax and let things go. Let the Barbie go. Make yourself tea and go, I'm glad the Barbie is gone. One less asshole to hurt you, okay? And don't hurt the Barbie. She doesn't know better. She's in a frenzy on her own. She got her own shit going, cooking. So, but you don't need it, okay? You don't need this. Go to those people who already have a better lifestyle, who are already healthier. Orient yourself on those who are healthier. And then go one baby step after another up, like The Ladder by Esther Hicks. One step at a time. The Vipassana meditation by S.N. Goenka is definitely the way to go, and I will say it in every one of my videos, almost. I mentioned that in many of my videos, and I'll mention it many times again in the future, because it is absolutely a breakthrough for humanity, and it is free of charge, as S.N. Goenka wanted it and wanted to keep it that way, so that everybody has the chance to attend this and to make something out of their lives, and to become a more compassionate person, and become whole and connected within themselves, within their own body cells who want peace. So take care.